Hello, today at DigiWiz we are creating the DigiWiz Forklift. So I want you to take out all your parts and organise them nice and neatly in front of you. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to use small screws to fix 4 dual layer angle irons at 4 corners of the yellow board. So we're going to use 2 screws for each bracket. So we're going to turn over the board and we're going to fix 2 small angle iron brackets at the following positions. So just where the 2 holes are and next to the brackets underneath, we're going to put 2 screws into the brackets each side. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get the 10cm shaft bar and we're going to get the orange sleeves with the dual layer gears. So keep a little gap between the sleeve and the small angle iron so the dual layer gears can rotate smoothly. So we're just going to place the shaft into the lower hole. And the gears are going to be facing outwards. So 2 orange sleeves in between the gear. Next we're going to fix the wheels. So we'll add the shaft bars, the small shaft bars with the belt pulleys with a single layer gear. We're going to face that gear outwards again. We'll do the same thing again, so add your shaft bar onto the wheel, apply your pulley and then the single layer gear. We're going to repeat the same process. So we're going to add the wheel, put on the pulley with the shaft, and instead of the gear we're going to apply the orange sleeve. So we're going to do that to the other 2 wheels. Now we're going to attach the wheels onto the angle irons, so the brackets. So we're going to use the lower holes, the inside lower holes. We're going to place them through and attach a sleeve that acts as a stopper. Now the main thing here is we want the gears to be touching each other. The teeth of the gears have to be touching each other. So make sure that they're rotating. Repeat the same process on the other side of the board. Apply your wheel with the gear, make sure the teeth of the gear are touching each other and add your sleeve to hold position. Once this is done, we will apply the other 2 wheels onto the other 2 brackets, put them through the lower holes and attach your sleeve to act as a stopper to prevent the wheel from falling out. So now we're going to add rubber bands onto the side of the vehicle. So we're going to put the rubber bands onto the pulleys of the wheel. So a rubber band at each side. Now we're going to attach the angle iron brackets onto the corner of the green board. So 2 brackets onto the corner of the green board. So using normal screws, the small screws, attach 2 of them each time. Now we're going to position the fixed rack into the center there next to the iron rack. Note the hold position. We're going to use cushion screws here. So 2 cushion screws to apply onto the board. Next, we're going to apply the long cushion screws, not into the corner, but 1 hole down from the corner of the other green board. So long cushion screws at 4 corners of the green board, but not exactly in the corners, just 1 hole down. So once you have the 4 cushion screws in, we're going to apply the pillars onto each screw. So you twist them around until they're locked in. So then you're going to apply the 7cm shaft bars into each of those pillars. So you just want to press down them, add a bit of pressure so it's nice and secure. So now we'll attach the 2 green boards together by threading the 2 shaft bars into the 2 bracket holes of the rack bar. Now we're going to add the green boards onto the yellow board. So the shaft bars have to be inserted into the yellow board. Now take note here on your sheet where those holes are. So you should have 3 holes across and 4 holes across on the other shaft bar. So the gap between the holes in going back should be 6 holes. So apply a bit of pressure and push those through. Now we're going to grab our battery box and our chipboards and we're going to connect the wires together. But before we do that, we must trim back some wire. So you will use a nail clippers or a knife just to slightly cut the plastic on the wire, but not the wire itself. And then use your nails then to peel off the plastic. This will allow you a bit more wire to tie the wires together. So using the scissors, cut off some parts of the black heat syringe tube and apply it onto the red wire, one of those parts onto the red wire. Then we're going to tie all the three wires together, the three red wires together. Once you have them tied, take your time. We're going to cover over that tie with the black heat syringe tube. Just pull it over it. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to apply the black heat syringe tube again onto the black wire, and we will tie the three black wires together again and then cover over that with the heat syringe tube again. So now we're going to install the small gears onto the ends of the motors. So there's a white gear and then there's two yellow gears that must go onto the end of the motors. So apply a bit of pressure and put those gears on. So next we must tie on the wires into the right motors. So we have blue and green going onto the bracket of the motor, so onto the beige gear motor. Then we have grey and beige C and D wires going onto the bracket of the next beige motor, and then we have the white gear motor then E and F. So make sure you have those wires tied onto the brackets of each motor. It is very important that you tie the right wires onto the right bracket hole. So take note of the colours and make sure you have them correct with your sheet. Now we're going to cut some more heat syringe tube. So using the scissors, cut off more parts, and we're going to connect those on to the colourful wires one at a time, and then you're going to connect the wires together. So now we're going to apply the right colour wires, then the remaining ends of the other wires, onto the colours of the chipboard. So you must apply the wire A, which is the blue one, onto wire 1. Then you must apply wire B, which is the green one, onto wire 2. C, which is the grey one, onto wire 3. D, which is the beige pinky one, which is onto wire 4. E, the black wire, onto wire 5. And F onto wire 6. And once you've those tied, you can cover over the tie knot with the black heat syringe tubes. Use short cushion screws to fix 2-channel RC board and the 4-channel RC board onto the yellow board. Note that each board only needs 2 screws, and the screw should not be overly tight in case of damage. So turn over the board, then we're going to use the short cushion screws to fix the battery box onto the yellow board. So 2 short cushion screws. So once this is done, we're going to use some binding ribbon to tidy the lead joints together. So now we're going to attach the motors onto the board itself. So we'll use some double-sided sticky tape. So you can place the sticky tape on the board or on the motor itself. And we want to attach these onto the gears. So make sure that gears are touching each other and make sure that the motors are fixed in the right position using sticky tape. The motors should have the side with the pin upward. So next we're going to insert the motor with the white main gear into the white gearbox. Then we're going to install the motor buckle around the top of that. So pull that as tight as you can. Install the notch shaft into the white gearbox. Then install the last yellow main gear onto the notch shaft. So apply a bit of pressure here, just push that through, and also then apply the yellow main gear onto that shaft bar. So now we're going to apply the motor on top of the green board, so the roof. Have the yellow gear engaged with the rack, so the teeth of the yellow gear must be touching each other. Now using double-sided tape, you can stick the motor into place. Once this is done, we're going to install the big angle iron to limit the position of the rack. So screw that in as best you can. Nice and tight and close to the rack. Next we're going to use some binding ribbon to fasten the motor at the top. Notice the position of the holes through which the binding ribbon is going to thread. So cut off any excess of the binding ribbon then. So again, use another ribbon to tie all the wires together to keep it nice and tidy. So grab the last remaining yellow board and I want you to place a headed shaft at each corner of the board. This will create a pallet. The last 2 things we're going to do now is we're going to apply the forks onto the front of the forklift. So using 2 screws for each fork, just screw them in, and then once that's done, we're going to put the batteries into the battery box and we're going to have a test run. So there's 6 channels on the remote, so press on each button to figure them out. So there'll be 1 button for pushing the forklift up, 1 for pushing it down, and then there'll be buttons for the wheels. So 2 buttons can be pushed to make the machine go forward and 2 buttons can allow it to go back. So have a test run there, and well done for creating the DigiWiz Forklift. Well done.
So, and they're not. 83% of those who would have counted for that have
No chocolate.
146